As of January 20th, I have been making videos on YouTube for 5 years. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to all of you that have supported me over the years. And just know that whether you're here for the old school anime reviews, whether you're here for Fatal Frame, or you're here for Tomonobu Itagaki, the horror stuff, convention stuff, whatever it is, I really appreciate you. And I don't expect you to watch everything that I make. So even if it's just one of those topics I mentioned, that's cool enough for me. I'm down with that. What I decided to do was take a moment to talk about 3 different times I met someone and I had no idea who they were. This is going to be a unique video, but trust me, it does relate within the content of what the channel is about. So don't worry about that. I'm not hitting you with anything weird, but it's going to totally relate to topics that I cover and everything. In fact, Dead or Alive fans will definitely appreciate this or get some laughs out of it. You don't have to be familiar with Dead or Alive to find it entertaining, though. But once again, as always, if you're new here, I talk about anime news, I talk about gaming news. We do reviews on both of those. I also talk about anime conventions. If any of that sounds remotely intriguing to you, please consider subscribing. And yeah, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We're going to jump right into this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for the support. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Ryofu, and you are watching The Gaming Harbinger. So this first story deals with Yosuke Hayashi. Now, Yosuke Hayashi is the president of Team Ninja. Now, if you're not familiar with him, I mean, it's not really super shocking, but he was coming all the way to Dallas, A-kon, and this was 2011. And he was pretty much here to show trailers and stuff for Ninja Gaiden 3. I didn't know really what to expect. I didn't know if this was just going to be him talking and being like, ta-da, here's Ninja Gaiden 3. I had no idea what to expect, but I kind of had an idea like, hey, maybe if I have a game on deck or something, I can get it signed or autographed. So first he had one panel where it was just a discussion. I actually have some video of this somewhere. I don't know if I'll have it for this video. I'm going to try to look for it, but just know if you don't see no footage, I wasn't able to find it, unfortunately.
I want to make it look good, so we're going to do normal for now.
First, there was a discussion panel where you could just ask him whatever you wanted. And that panel, after it ended, I had a moment to get my game signed. And then the second panel, there was actually the reveal of Ninja Gaiden 3. But anyways, going back to the first panel, I had a moment to get Dead or Alive Dimension signed because he was the producer. Now, his English was pretty good. Now, unfortunately, this led many English speakers to do their attempt at really bad Japanese with him, which that totally happened. But a lot of people brought, random Team Ninja games to get signed. But here's the thing. When I went up, I brought Dead or Alive Dimensions, which hadn't been out very long, maybe a month. And there was someone standing next to him. And after he signed my game, he was like, hey, this guy right here, he's a producer on the game as well, and he really wants to sign your game. Is that okay? And I was like, hell yeah, he can sign my game. Let's go. And so he goes, he eagerly signs my game, hands it back to me. And I actually had to look this person up after the fact because I didn't know who he was. And of course I went to the panel afterwards and it was Ninja Gaiden 3 and, enjoyed that. But, so it come to find out, this was Yohei Shimbori. And for anybody that plays or is familiar with the Dead or Alive community knows who that man is. He was the director for Dead or Alive 5 as well as Dead or Alive 6, which, for some people is kind of a wild concept because that means Dead or Alive 5, people thought really highly of that. And Dead or Alive 6, unfortunately, not as much. And going back to my earlier years on YouTube was me being like this Dead or Alive 6 defender. But I wasn't, there were some things I wasn't happy about the game. But I mean, I was defending it on the spectrum of what some of the things they were accusing Dead or Alive 6 of. But anyways, what a wonderful time to be alive, to be ranting and raving about stuff that doesn't matter. So I want to say this next story happened the following year. I believe it was 2012 because it was pretty early or maybe a couple months after the release of Dead or Alive 5. So I was really into the game. I was playing online. I was testing my mettle against other Dead or Alive players. So I was like, I'm feeling kind of good. I know I do not expect to win, but I saw that at A-kon they're going to have a tournament. I want to support it. I want to see who shows up. And also, there's a little bit of odds in my favor because, it's not like Tekken. It's not like Call of Duty where I'm going to be going against a crap ton of people that are just way better than me. There might be only a couple people better than me. And then if anyone average walks in there, then I can boost up my self-esteem. So I kind of went into this knowing that I wasn't going to win it or anything like that. Nothing crazy. So I decide to enter in this tournament. I don't remember how much it was, but it might have been like $10 or something to enter. So not cheap. At least I wouldn't say it was cheap at the time. And so I sign up. I talk to the guy at the booth, very friendly. And he appears to be just running the whole show, signing everybody up, taking their money. And I guess he's letting me know, like, okay, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to call your name. You have X amount of time to show up. He's explaining everything. And I also want to point this out, too. This person at the booth, this was one man. And everyone else, and I get it. Dead or Alive is a smaller community. But all the other tournaments had multiple people running them. This one only had one person. But anyways, so I'm getting ready for my first fight, right? And obviously, out the gate, me and this guy, it's a really close match. But then once we pretty much finished the first set, he couldn't keep up with me. And what was happening is that I was learning his moves, but he wasn't really learning my moves. So as more and more time went on, it was just clear that I was the better fighter. And I could tell he was kind of getting a little frustrated, especially because when it started off, it seemed extremely close. So I'm feeling myself, right? And then I get set up for the next fight. Now, at this point, I kind of see that who my next opponent's going to be. I'm looking at his moves. Now, granted, I do this trick too. Sometimes I can be a little deceptive and I'm not going to be playing with my main character or who I'm really good at first. So this guy was playing against another person and I'm looking and I'm like, dude, if this is what I'm up against, I got this. Woo-hoo! I got this, man. So, I'm feeling myself again. I walk away feeling good. And I come back when my name's called. We sit around and wait. And then I don't know why. I was disappointed in this. The guy didn't show up. So I was like, oh no. Because I know it's only getting harder from here. My time is ticking. The clock is ticking for me. And so I was like, oh damn, he didn't show up. And he's like, yeah, well, that's an automatic win for you. And so, the guy at the booth sets me up again for another fight. I have to come back a little later. And I sit next to this guy that, he's not even listening to what's happening in the game. He's listening to music. And I knew it was a sign there. I was like, oh, shit. This isn't going to be good. So, we start up the round. He just destroys me. Lambasted me. There was just nothing left. And this guy had the nerve to say, you want to switch characters? I was like, no, I don't want to switch characters. Start the game up. Start the game up. Let's go. Come on. You know, quit messing around. Don't play with me. And then he's like, okay. So then clearly he just knew all the characters' moves and frames, and he was familiar with who I was using, and he just destroyed me. He just had his way with me, and that was that. But, you know, me walking away defeated, walking away all pitiful, the guy at the booth is like, hey, you know, don't leave, Ryofu, because we're going to have a loser bracket, and you can, you know, you're going to get to participate in that and figure who's the best amongst you guys. So he's like, don't leave. And I was like, all right, you know. So I come back a little later. But before I get to that, this guy that was running the booth, he's in the tournament too, and he is really good. I'm like, okay, interesting. All right, let's go. And what ends up happening is that before the loser bracket thing started, I saw the guy that destroyed me go against the guy from the booth. And the guy from the booth just whooped his ass. Not as bad as headphone guy whooped my butt, but still, it was still clearly like one person was just better than the other. And he was agitated. And then someone that was an onlooker made the comment, well, of course, Master would win. And then I was like, Master? So clearly at this point, you know who I'm talking about. That's right. I am talking about one of the top players in Dead or Alive, Master. Now, some of you guys that are, you know, have watched my Dead or Alive content, you might be like, what the hell, man? Really? Like, you don't know who Master is? Well, apparently in 2012, I did not know who Master was. But if I were to be honest, it's kind of one of those things where, one, you know, my age, and plus when you look at, like, I play fighting games, right? I'm into Dead or Alive. I'm into Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear. I even like the Persona fighting games, and I like Grand Blue Fantasy. What is it? Versus Relink? I think I said that right. You know, all amazing fighting games. But, like, I don't really, like, follow the fighting game community is in terms of like esports and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff I'm unfamiliar with, or any type of pro gamer thing. I'm not familiar with those type of things. So it makes sense to me, but I understand with some people, especially younger generations, people that are 10 years younger than me, they might be blown away that I don't know more of these people. But yeah, I didn't know who he was. And looking back at that now, I'm like, wow, I have like tons of questions I would like to ask him in regards to Dead or Alive, especially for the simple fact that I know that he works with Team Ninja. So I have a ton of stuff I would ask him now. But I mean, at the time, I didn't know who he was, even though I had like several different mini conversations with him. And just a little more to add to that story. When I did play the loser bracket thing, it was kind of funny because the guy I played against after that, me and him were like neck and neck. Like it was insanely close. Such a good match. And even though like we're clearly not like top tier players, you know, we were familiar with the moves. We knew the characters we were playing. And it, you know, at one point, you know, in between a round, I looked behind and I saw like all these people watching us and I was like, oh crap. Now I just feel all nervous and shit. But it was still a fun time. And like I said, I didn't expect to win or anything. But it was one of those things you just try and see what happens. You know, see how far you can get. I was happy with that one win. I wanted to go against that second guy because I felt like, I got this. So my last story is a lot shorter. This also happened sometime around 2011, 2010, give or take a year. But this was also an A-kon thing, and it's kind of funny that all these things are kind of interconnected in some way to Dead or Alive. But anyways, this deals with the banquets that they have. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with convention banquets, a lot of times what they'll do is you will pay a premium, and it could be, at the time, it was like, you know, $50 or $60. and then you can eat with the guests. But the thing is, it's the guests that show up to this. So like there's a lot of times like the bands that would perform, they wouldn't show up to this, but a lot of the voice actors would show up. But I want to say it's one of those things that maybe they don't necessarily have to show up to if they don't want to. I'm not 100% sure on that, but this was like a brief time period where A-kon actually wanted the guests to sit at a table for 15 minutes and then switch to another table, sit there for 15 minutes, and then move to the next one. Now, as an attendee, I love this. And you've heard me mention this on other convention videos. And they only did this maybe 2 years. But it gave me a chance to meet a lot of different people, even a lot of people I was not familiar with. And that's how this story came to be, of meeting people that you're not familiar with. And at some point, some people sat at our table. It was the last group of people. And my uncle was like pretty much doing his thing. Like he just kind of swooped in and was like, introducing himself to people and saying, hey, what do you do for a living? What are you known for? To get the people talking and to get them comfortable. And it worked. And one of those people said to us, oh, I'm just an animator. And we're kind of like, huh? Okay. And then he proceeds to tell us, well, I've made a couple of videos. They're on YouTube and they've gone viral, but I'm nobody special. It's kind of like, okay, pretty modest guy. I'm like, all right. And, then eventually it goes to the other people. They start talking and everything. Well, what ended up happening is that person was none other than Monty Oum. Now, for people that follow this channel, I'm assuming most of you probably know who he is, but there might be some people that don't. So I will just say that Monty Oum is an animator, as he said, but he is someone that shook just the whole animation scene by storm. He went viral off of, it was a Master Chief and Samus Aran battle, and it was pretty epic. But then what I saw from him was this series he created called Dead Fantasy, and it was dead or alive characters fighting Final Fantasy characters. And just like how meticulous this guy was with his animation, how detail oriented each fight scene was. It was so intense, so detailed, so multifaceted, and it was really impressive stuff to see. When me and my friends met him, I want to say that might have been the time that he was in talks with Rooster Teeth. So he ended up working on Red versus Blue for a little bit. And when he joined the fray, you could just see like the fight sequences went up, like they went to 1,000 like real quick. They were just so epic, so intense, just really a sight to behold. Now, before he passed, he was able to come out with a series called Ruby, which at the time, it was killing it. It's been around for like 9 seasons now. And I know there's been issues and changes with the show, and it's hard to say if where it's at right now, if that's something Monty would be happy with, or if it's what he wanted or whatever. But the point being is that, him being at the helm of this show at the time, it was awesome. It was awesome. His fight scenes are just so amazing. Now, there isn't a lot of details on like how the whole situation went down with him passing, but all I know is that he had an allergic reaction while he was in the hospital, and he was in the hospital for something really minor, and then that caused him to go into a coma, and he passed away at the age of 33. So for those of you that have been with the channel for a couple of years now, you've probably seen my video and tribute that I did for my uncle. And I, like throughout the years, we've kind of been going through some of his stuff, and I managed to find a lot of his A-kon pictures, and I actually found this picture. Now, of course, I apologize that it's not HD. Now you can see on the left, there's Monty, and then second from the right is my Uncle Tony. And he wanted me to take this picture because this was the last group of people that we sat with this year of A-kon. I wish I could tell you like what year this happened. It could be even earlier than what I initially said, but I'm thinking it's like 2011, 2010. I want to say maybe it's right when he was in the talks with Rooster Teeth. Yeah, with that being said, I just want to add that when I look at this picture, I'm kind of reminded of, like, you know, when I start thinking really hard about this time period, like there's a lot of stuff with conventions and stuff, and people that go to conventions regularly know exactly what I'm talking about, especially younger people. But I just remember a time when you know, some of my friends were kind of going at each other, not getting along because, you know, you cram a bunch of people into a room and, you know, some people are eating your food and all kinds of stuff, or one person isn't paying for their share of the hotel, all kinds of stuff. And then also I remember that, you know, there was a friend of mine that I had a little bit of a falling out with. Just all these things, right? All these things culminating. But then when I look at this picture, which this is totally, I guess you could say, like a beautiful thing, but I actually look at it and I'm like, no, it was a pretty good year. This was a good year. This was a good time. And which is awesome, because you know how does the saying go? Like, sometimes whenever someone says something nice to you, you forget it, but then, you know, something that someone said to you 3 years ago that was negative, you never forgot it. It's kind of one of those things where, for a change, it's like when I look at this picture, you know, I just remember having a good time. The people that you care about, you know, you should appreciate them, because they're not always going to be there. So you need to appreciate them when they're there. And that's the video. No, I'm not trying to end this on a sad note. I'm really not, like, but I am being serious that, you know, appreciate your loved ones, for real. I do want to go over some things real quick. So as you guys know, like I said, 5 years is a big deal. And I know some of you may have noticed that my output's been a little weak as of lately. I am working to improve, like, the quality of my videos. I'm buying more equipment. I'm also going to do a massive overhaul on the layout and the logo. And for those of you that like the logo like me, and you think Chibi Ryofu is awesome, yeah, eventually she's going to go away and we're going to replace her with something else. But I'm really looking forward to see how that turns out, and it's just time for a different look. But I mean, as far as my content's going to be the same, but I'm just ready for a new look and, you know, something to get excited about. I'll probably do a new trailer, little things like that. We're going to make some changes with the channel, but like I said, this is more aesthetically, so it's not something that'll deviate from the type of content I make. So don't worry about anything like that. But just know that, you know, yeah, I have, you know, even stuff like on my work side in my personal life, you know, work has been really crazy lately. So that's another reason why my output's been a little slow. But just be patient, because I got some good stuff lined up. I still have some anime reviews for you guys to look forward to. And like I said, unfortunately, I'm the type of guy, like, if I'm in a situation where I feel like I have to rush this thing out and I'm not happy with it, I won't do it. It's not happening. If I have to re-record an entire video again, I'll do it. and that's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that, yeah, I mean, it takes longer. But that also means, like, if someone looks at any of my videos and they say, well, this was kind of cringe, I'll be like, no, it's not, because I'm proud of that shit. That's what it is, you know. But if it's a video where I threw together just to get views, just to talk about something popular, you know, I wouldn't be proud of that. So I try to make sure that each and every video that I put out is something that I can stand behind, that I don't feel ashamed of. And so just keep that in mind. Like I said, I wish things were happening a little faster, but, you know, in the long run, it's going to be beautiful. But anyways, I appreciate you watching the video till the very end, and I appreciate all your support the past 5 years. Maybe we'll do another extra video just for whatever, some kind of brief collective video of all the embarrassing moments or something. I don't know. We'll do something else for the channel for hitting 5 years. But anyways, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.